some people might think that Nowheristan is a fashion. People think that big revolutionaries and big philosophers were people who were only in books. No, those people had real lives. Karl Marx made a son for his maid. She was living under their house and she had a son from him. He was going out to get drunk with his friends. He was fucking, he was having fun. He was not thinking 24 hours a day of revolution and not eating and not going to the toilet. Che Guevara had a lot of humor. Che Guevara had a lot of mistresses. Che Guevara was, it's not like, there's the philosopher who is under a tree all the time, or like Diogenes with his dog in a barrel. I mean, no, people, and I think that if I can make philosophy, if I can make revolution while having good time, it's much better than doing it in the university behind the big walls and having only my students listening to it. I want pop and rock culture. I want pop and rock revolution. I want pop and rock philosophy. This is what I want. I don't want culture to be in the museums and to be in big books that you do not feel like opening, because they are all so boring even from outside. I'm someone who have a lot of admiration for philosophers who do not take themselves very seriously. What's happening now is that you have politicians who come and serve us shit, but in a very serious packaging where they have their ties. They take courses in how they should speak, perfect accent, and the way they move their hands, and it's all studied. But when you analyze what they're saying, there's no content. I'm giving you in a funny way, in a look that is not very like appealing maybe to Western, but I'm giving you very serious content in something that might look exotic or not very serious with the name, under the name of Nowheristan. But when you look under very big etiquettes like Christian Democratic, I don't know what, like very long names of political party, when you analyze what they're proposing, it's nothing. It's exactly, or with small differences, what their political opponents are proposing. Like they all keep on bringing up the same ideas and the same boring ideas with small differences. Like instead of 2.3%, it's 2.38%. But what are you proposing? They're not proposing anything. They work on their appearances, on the polls. What do people want to hear? It's like bad parents. Bad parents who is giving all the day chewing gum and chocolate and candies to his kids because kids like candies. Parents are not to give candies to the kids. Parents are to give soup even if the kid does not want soup. That's how you make future generations, not with candies. And this is what's happening now in the world, and especially in Europe, is a result of them looking at what the people want and not what is the interest of the people. They look at what Stat, Ipsos, all those companies are telling them. What do people want to hear? And they tell them what. No, you don't tell them what they want to hear. You give them what is good for them, even if they don't want to hear it. This myth of democracy, like as if democracy is a great thing, this is bullshit. Democracy brought to power Hitler. Democracy will bring in all Arab countries, democracy will bring Islamist radicalists to power. Democracy is where two idiots will beat Einstein. Democracy is awful. Democracy is a stupid thing. And it's not like when you say democracy is bad, is that you are for totalitarian regimes. It's not white or black. It's not like there's two choices. There's hundreds of choices in life. So this thing that they are putting in all the medias and in the head of the Europeans and the Americans, that there's democracy, like we bomb Iraq, we bomb Libya, we destroy entire populations because we want to bring to them democracy. This is bullshit. Democracy is not the solution. Democracy cannot work. There are other things that can work, but democracy is rubbish. It's not democracy that is working in Sweden. Sweden, if it's a, and anyway, they have a queen, but even if they had Sheikh, or if they had anything, any system that you put in Sweden, it would work, because Swedish people reached a level of, okay, so it's not democracy that's making some countries work. Democracy is working there because anything could work, but democracy is very bad for Iraq. Democracy is very bad for Egypt. Democracy is very bad for Libya. And when I say that, no, you are against the human rights, what is a human rights? You bomb people and then you send the human rights? This is your idea of human rights. Human rights are being used by Western powers to enter in a new colonialist way. They're using big ideas, human rights, democracy, love of freedom, to recolonize those countries. They have a crisis. They consume so much. They buy so many things. They cannot pay it only with what they produce. They have to steal other countries to keep on living the way they live. I'm not saying that this is a decision of the poor guy in his building in the suburbs of Paris. No, this is a decision of the governments. The people, they don't know anything. The American people are very nice, very naive. I was invited by the Department of State. It was my first visit to the States last year, probably the last one, because I mean, I will not be invited anymore. And I've seen that American people are so naive. They are so full of good feelings, and they are so happy that they helped the poor peoples of Iraq to get rid of the awful monster that was Saddam Hussein, and that they want to help everybody. They don't know what their government is doing. They have no idea. Saddam Hussein was not more of a monster. No, Bush is a human monster. Cameron is a human monster. Sarkozy is a human monster. I mean, he killed how many, if you want just, I mean, it's not the way it should be done, but if you want just to see how many persons the worst monster in the Arab world killed, and how many monsters each, and how many persons have killed each president of the United States, any president of the United States is much more of a monster than any Arab dictators. Arab dictators are killing by Arab dictators are killing by hundreds, by thousands, but any president of the United States in the last 30 or 40 years killed by hundreds of thousands. You see Gaddafi, but don't think that he's alone. I mean, Saddam Hussein also had thousands and dozens of thousands of people working for him. He had his administration, but you don't see them because they put clowns like Sacha Baron Cohen to make the dictator, and the dictator has a long beard, and the dictator is an Arab, but they don't. No one in the Arab world would do a film about George Bush, and the level of education of George Bush, if he was born in the Arab world, he would be cleaning the streets. He would never become president because he was an idiot. And his IQ is the IQ of an idiot. But the IQ of Gaddafi, who succeeded a coup d'etat at the age of 27, if you read the books, because they make fun of the books of Gaddafi, but try to read the Green Book. It's philosophy. What president of any Western country have written a philosophy book in the last 50 years? Where do they come from? They come because they are empowered, because they are supported by lobbies, because they are they did money, they paid people, they got money from from third world to invest on their campaigns, like Sarkozy, who got money from Gaddafi, for example. Before him, it was France Afrique, and they used to get diamonds from African presidents to make their campaigns. It's all about money. No one becomes a president if he is not willing to kill. This is how the world is being ruled. So, but the problem is that there is what we call in French délit de faciès. If you look blonde with blue eyes and you have a nice tie and you are well dressed, it's much more difficult to convince people that you are criminal. But it's very easy to convince people if you are criminal, if you are dressed like a military and you come from Latin America or if you come from the Arab world, because you have an entire industry in Hollywood, an entire industry of the medias that is working night and day to stereotype and to create images telling you good, bad. The same industry that was, the same principles of Goebbels that were being used to tell you, like, he looks Jews, he's evil. If you have a big nose and if you have curly black hair, then you are evil. And if you are big, tall, blonde with blue eyes, you are good, is being used nowadays by Western medias, by people like Rupert Murdoch, by people in Hollywood to make films and to make propaganda for who's good and who's bad.